There's a well-known story in the Bible about a man named Job. Now, there's about 40 some chapters worth of this story, so I'm just going to give you the short version. And that is that Job lost everything he had, all his earthly possessions. He lost his family members. He lost his health. Everything was taken or killed. And in the end, Job was restored, not just to where he was, but he received double. So that's often the Bible, you hear in the churches that say double for your trouble. That's from Job's story. Now, something that was very important to his restoration that I often overlook was that before Job was restored, he prayed for his friends. Now, I often read that scripture and just think, okay, what is so important that he prayed for his friends about his restoration? And I've learned that it is actually really important that he prayed for his friends. And the reason being is that Job's friends were not the best people. Now, they had good intentions. In the beginning, when they first learned about what he was going through, they went to visit him and they did the right friend thing. They sat with him, they were quiet, they wept with him. Good friends. But it only lasted a few days. After a while, they opened their mouths and they started talking. And that's when it all went wrong. Because what they did was that they spent all of their time condemning Job, saying that the reason why he was suffering and going through everything he was experiencing was because he was in sin. And that just wasn't true. In fact, at the beginning of the story, when the Lord was looking at Satan, like, what are you doing? He's like walking, to and fro through the earth, trying to destroy. He's like, well, why don't you consider my servant Job, who's blameless, upright? God chose Job because of his character. Yet his friends were condemning him, saying that because his character was flawed and that he was in sin, this is the reason why he was experiencing all that he was experiencing. I mean, they argued him down. So much so got to a point where Job was like, I could do like you. He said, I can make fine speeches against you. I can shake my head at you, but my mouth would encourage you. Like, I could do all the things that you're doing, but I wouldn't. My lips will bring you comfort and relief. It reminded me of us today and how we respond when we see people that go through suffering. Often we act like Job's friends, unfortunately, where it's like, you see what's going on in her life? Child, I don't know what she did, but she must have did something because the Lord is not pleased. We have to be very mindful and very careful of when we speak on things that the Lord is doing as if we know what he's doing when we don't. The Lord actually became very angry at Job's friends. He was angry because they were saying all these things that he was in sin, and they were saying that this is the reason why God was doing what he was doing. When in reality, it was the Lord setting him up to bless him. And that's why the Lord became angry, because he called them liars. Like, you're not telling the truth on me. You're lying about me and what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing. My plan for Job is good. Yet, us today, we do the same thing. We criticize, we condemn, and we speak negatively when we see people in suffering. I'm afraid of what the Lord might do if he were to find us in that place. In this story, Job prayed for his friends. That prayer was not only about his restoration, but that prayer held back the wrath of God on his friends. That's what that prayer did. What will happen with us today? Is someone praying for us? Are our friends praying for us? And we're speaking negatively and saying things that the Lord is doing when he's really not doing? I don't know. But what I learned is that Job's prayer not only was a part of his restoration, but his prayer saved his friends. As we go through our world today, as we are in relationship with people, we have to be sure that we are the ones that are lifting people up when they're down. We are the ones that are encouraging people when they're down, and we're not the ones that are speaking negatively, causing them additional harm, kicking them down when they're already down.